Morning, Rock Hill. Pastor Kyle here on Monday morning. Just giving a short little recap on yesterday's sermon. I preached from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 7 to 18. It begins with this: "But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that the surpassing power belongs to God and not to us." And what Paul's point there is the treasure of the gospel is placed into ordinary clay pots, ordinary vessels of common use, that's you and me, in order to deliver it in such a way where no one is tempted to think that the delivery mechanism, you and I, the delivery vessel, you and I, is the treasure. But we recognize that the treasure is actually the gospel of Jesus Christ. God, to preserve his glory, uses ordinary people like you and me to bring the message of the gospel, the treasure of salvation in Jesus Christ, to those who haven't heard it yet. This often includes, as Paul goes on, much suffering in demonstrating both the suffering of Jesus and the life of Jesus, the new life of Jesus as people respond. And so that Paul writes, "We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed." And so God's chosen means of making the gospel known is often through the joyful suffering of his people, making Jesus known to those who haven't heard him yet. We know as Christians at the end of all things, God will make all things new, including us. And so we continue to persevere. And we realize then that our current sufferings are being used by God to prepare us for what's called an eternal weight of glory beyond all compare. And so Paul has this resolution at the end of chapter 4. He says, "So we do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. For this light momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal." And so what we see there is that God is preparing us in the midst of our sufferings for good that will not even be worth comparing to these, that will overwhelm and swallow up our current sufferings. And so in light of this, we continue to persevere, realizing that the vessels are just ordinary vessels, that we possess an incredible treasure, realizing that God is currently using our suffering to prepare us for glory that we wouldn't even believe and aren't even prepared for now. Rock Hill, in light of that, eternity gives us a different perspective on things, including our suffering. And so we want to suffer well, we want to suffer joyfully in the midst of that, realizing what God is up to. Hope you guys have a phenomenal week as jars of clay. Bye.